So you think you found your first real estate investment deal. Now what do? Today's video, we are gonna dive in to help you determine exactly what you need to be looking for to determine if it's a great deal and if you should go after it and actually make that purchase. Let's dive in. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Lewis, real estate investor and entrepreneur with over 10 years experience building and growing a real estate team and investing in real estate. Before we dive into today's video, make sure you hit that like button, leave us a comment with any questions or comments you might have. We'll address those in the comment section and create some future content around those. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future videos. We are here to help you break out of the 9-to-5, gain financial freedom, and grow wealth through real estate. Let's dive in. So you found your first potential real estate investment, you're super pumped, and I get it, but now you're wondering, what do I do? How do I make this happen? Let's take a look at some things that you need to know before you make that offer, some things you should evaluate, and some tips and tricks along the way. Tip number one, don't fall in love. This one is super important. I see it all the time with first-time real estate investors. This process is totally different than buying your primary residence. You don't need to like this home, and it's something I battled early on, and I want to help you get over that right up front. When it comes to real estate investing, it is a numbers game. Yes, you need to evaluate whether there's repairs to be done and things like that, but you don't need to love the property, and it doesn't need to be a home that you yourself would live in. I'm not saying buy a dirty property and rent it out and just be a slumlord, but you don't need to want to live in that property. You don't have to love the floor plan. You don't have to love the location. All of those pieces will be sorted out when it comes to renting that out. So this tip is very important for you. Don't fall in love with that property. Maybe you find one that you totally do like, but if you fall in love with it and you fall in love with the idea of investing, it could cost you thousands of dollars and hurt you on the monthly cash flow side of things. It's simply numbers, and you need to approach this process on the business side of it and not on the emotion side. So step number one, tip number one, make sure you don't fall in love with this property. If you have to walk away, so be it. Go ahead and break up. Tip number two is run the numbers. So as I said, it's a numbers game, and you need to check those numbers out before you make an offer. So it doesn't just base off of the purchase price. You don't just go, it's offered for $500,000, so I'm gonna offer $475,000. There's a lot of work that actually goes into determining what that offer price number would look like, and actually whether you should even offer on a property to begin with. So you found that property. You need to run a few very important numbers. Number one, you need to take a look at what will your monthly payment be. So this is gonna change based off your specific scenario, what type of loan product you're looking at, what the interest rates are. All of those pieces are going to change that number for you. But you should know all of that beforehand because you've already assembled your team, you've already got a mortgage loan pre-approval, and you're ready to rock and roll. So you wanna plug in that purchase price, that interest rate, your down payment amount, your property taxes. All of those need to be determined. There are calculators online that you can use for those. I can get you connected with a great tool that can help you run those scenarios as well. But you wanna take a look at what is my all-in principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment. Take a look at that number because that's what we're gonna be basing our cash flow off of. So you've got that principal, interest, taxes, and insurance number. The next step is to run the numbers on the rents. There are tools you can use there. If you're looking for a quick tool for yourself to determine, you can usually find this on Zillow, but you want to run this by a real estate professional who knows the market, who knows what's going on with rentals in the area, and can actually pull some of the actual rented comps. When you're looking online at Zillow, it's only going to show you the active comps as far as rentals, so it's a little bit harder to compare that data. Anybody can list a rental on Zillow, and they can ask $5,000 a month, but are they actually gonna get it is a different story. So it's a good gauge to get you right close to it, but your real estate professional can help you actually run that number. So now you've got your all-in monthly payment number and your potential rental number, and obviously we want the rental number to be higher than the payment number, and that difference is called your cash flow. So for example, we've got a $3,000 a month rental and you've got a $2,500 a month payment. The difference there is $500. You've got a $500 cash flow situation there. You've got to determine, is that the best use of your money? You're gonna be putting typically 25% down on a property like this, 25%. So you've got to determine with whatever your money putting down on that property, is it worth the cash flow that you're getting? There are some numbers you can look at there. We're not going to dive into all the specifics, but you can look at cash on cash return and your net positive cash flow. So we can dive into those in future videos, but you definitely just want to look at what's the difference there. Obviously, we want the highest possible cash flow. There are some scenarios where you'd be okay with a little bit smaller cash flow, but consult with your real estate professional to see if it makes sense for you and you just take advantage of the appreciation side. Let's also take a look at maybe those numbers aren't working out the way you want them to. Then you work backwards from there. So then you're going to start working on your monthly payment because the rental number is always going to be locked in. Now you want to take a look at that payment. How can I get that payment lower? Could I pay less in insurance? That could probably bring you down. Could you pay less as far as the actual purchase price? That could bring you down. Could you up your down payment? There's all sorts of scenarios that you can run there to fluctuate where that payment goes. Again, you need to determine what's best for you, but oftentimes you can actually go to the seller of the property that you're looking for, come with a number, and that needs to be your all-in number. You don't go above that. So once you've determined, I want $500 a month of cash flow, or $1,000 or $1,500, whatever that number is for the property you're looking at, that needs to be your all-in purchase number. You should start just a little bit below that so that you have some room to negotiate. But when the seller comes back and is firm on a number, which is above your number, this is where it's very important that you're not in love with the property and you're willing to walk away. In that case, it's going to save you thousands of dollars in the long run. You're not going to lose out on cash flow. You're not going to overpay for a property. So make sure you don't love the property more than the numbers. And if you can't come to terms with that seller, be ready to walk away. After you've taken a look at all of that, the next thing you want to do is put together a game plan for actually writing an offer. Every state is completely different here as far as what those contracts look like. Maybe you're pursuing this direct to the seller on your own, but most likely you have a real estate professional involved in the process and you want to sit down and create a strategy. This is where you're actually going to share with your realtor exactly what that top number is for you. A lot of people are really scared to share that number with their agent because they're afraid that they're gonna just try to take them up to that number right off the bat. But it actually gives them some negotiating power for you when it comes to coming to the table with the seller. So give them that number, find a target price that you're gonna start below that and give some negotiating room and allow them to craft a plan on some things that you're gonna ask for, maybe some incentives that you could offer the seller if you need to, depending on what the market looks like. They're going to help guide you everything that needs to go into that offer to make a successful deal happen. Really, the best deals are when the buyer gives a little bit, the seller gives a little bit, everybody ends up happy somewhere in the middle, and you get to walk away with an investment property that is cash flowing and hitting the numbers that you want. That's the breakdown on some of the tips and tricks that you can use to make sure that you are making a wise investment on what you found. Sometimes you're gonna need to walk away, sometimes it's worth pursuing. More often than not, you're gonna need to walk away. You're going to evaluate hundreds and hundreds of deals before you find the right one. Don't fall in love with the first one. Don't fall in love with the second one. You need to continue to run those numbers and make sure you're putting your money in the right spot. I hope you gained a lot from this video. As always, be sure to like this video, leave us a comment with any questions or comments you have. We can address those in future videos, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. We are here to help you break out of the 9 to 5, gain financial freedom, and build wealth through real estate. We'll see you next time.